Hey friends, welcome to my channel and to my studio. Today I'll be painting a simple common Yarrow in watercolor. I'll just talk you through my process as I'm painting. Feel free to use whatever supplies you have on hand. It doesn't have to be the exact same as mine. I think it's going to turn out just fine either way, but I will link everything below if you're interested, but no worries. So let's get started. All right, so getting started, I just used an F pencil to loosely and organically create this floral branch. I didn't want it to look too stiff, too straight up and down. I wanted it to feel kind of, gentle. It kind of goes off to the left and towards the right. And using Perylene green, which is one of my favorite greens, I traced that stem and then I just drew some branches coming off to the right and to the left. For all of these stems and branches, I'm using a size 2 round brush, and I wanted to use a brush that had a really fine, nice point at the end because, as you can see, these branches are quite delicate. They're really thin, so you have to use a really thin pointed brush to be able to do that, unless you're working on a giant surface, and then it doesn't matter as much. This sketchbook is only like 5 inches by 8 inches maybe, so delicate brush. For the petals on this little floral branch, I used Alizarin Crimson, and I just get that mixture going with a little bit of water, and then using kind of a more dry brush technique. So my brush doesn't have a ton of water in it. I want it to be like really strong with pigment. I kind of create these little, maybe you can call them mushroom shapes or umbrella shapes, and I just want them to feel kind of feathery, kind of soft. I want them to feel a little bit spaced out from each other. I don't want just a big puff. I kind of want them to feel like they're their own little flower clusters. So this part is kind of gradual. I work it kind of slowly. I don't do anything too quickly, and I just gradually create these little, umbrella shapes. I guess that's what I'll call them. And then once I finish that first layer, I mix an even stronger mixture of alizarin crimson so I get even more paint in my brush. And then I go back and then I add these little darker pink highlights to the flowers I already painted. And by doing that, I'm creating just this kind of shadow impression. So it kind of gives it just a little bit more dimension. So it looks like it's, not as one-dimensional. Some of those dark little dots that I'm drawing are just starting to create that depth and that contrast that I really like in my paintings. And after you paint all of your flowers, just come back with a really thin brush. I think I've only been using one brush this entire time. I think it's a size 2, but maybe even use a smaller brush here, maybe a size 1 or 0. And then draw these faint, tiny little stems connecting the flowers to the stems that you already have. And it just adds that perfect little finishing touch. It makes it look highly detailed, which is something I really enjoy about painting Yarrow flowers, is that they're fairly simple to paint, but they have that impression of a really detailed and really interesting flower. Something I love about this particular painting is that I basically only needed to use 2 colors, Perylene green and alizarin crimson. And you'll find that with just using that darker mixture of alizarin crimson, just layering it on there, you're able to get a huge spectrum of light pink and dark pinks and create that depth, create that dimension, create that interest and that detail. I feel like this looks like a pretty detailed little flower painting. Whether it is or not, I don't know. It took me like 15 minutes, so not too bad. So there you have it. Fairly easy watercolor painting, and I would love it if you would try this one at home. And if you like how it turns out, maybe share it on social media. You can tag me at Shealeen Louise. I'm on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up because that helps people find my videos. and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.